Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chris,
Hey, it's Scott.
and we are doing something a little different today. We're tagged in a Q&A, first time tag questionnaire kind of thing. We were tagged by our good buddy J Extreme Wolf from J Extreme Gaming.
Yeah.
She's super awesome. Check out her channel. We'll have a link of it. And this will be a thing so you guys can get to know us a little bit better. There's 20 questions of like our first time doing certain things, and you will just me and Scott will switch off, and that's it. I mean that's how it is.
That's pretty much the whole thing. So we're gonna start off with question number 1. Chris, take it away, sir.
What was your first tweet? That was our telling people about our Facebook when we first made our Mindwhack Facebook. That goes for both of us, I'm pretty sure, because I think I had a Twitter.
I had a Twitter, but my first tweet was probably like, "Fuck Twitter, this is stupid."
Yeah, so
like
so we're going with the
ago.
both of our answers are going to be us saying, "Hey, check out our new Facebook page at Mindwhack" or whatever. That's the first tweet.
Yeah. Number 2. What was your first YouTube video? And that's an easy one. The very first thing we uploaded to YouTube ever was a music compilation of Chris's art and our Tekka comic that we do. That I made the music and arranged the music digitally and timed the video out with all the art and stuff. And it was for the Kickstarter campaign that we were running like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even 6 years ago, if I remember right.
Now this one is interesting.
Yeah.
Number 3, the first person you subscribed to on YouTube. I have no clue. I really, really honestly do not know. Like that seems like it would be a me and Scott like combined answer. You probably remember?
No,
maybe?
the first channel I subscribed to was Derek Comedy back when I was just a wee bairn. Donald Glover from things like Community, and he's also known as Childish Gambino now. When he was in college, him and some of his friends started a comedy group. They were actually one of the first people to use YouTube for scripted videos instead of just like people's cats and people getting hurt and stuff. Yeah, and like news and blogs. Like food reviews and shit. Like
I guess maybe JonTron or maybe like one of my nephews or something. I really like that's the best I can do on that one.
Number 4. What was your first Facebook profile picture? For me, it was probably my son Eli as a very small baby. Like I didn't really get into Facebook until around I don't even know what year, but yeah, that's my answer. It was probably my son as a baby.
I think my first Facebook profile picture was probably just one that I took in the bathroom at one of my apartments, like in the mirror, off my phone. Otherwise, it would be like Dragon Ball Z characters, because I used to use those for my profile pictures. Number 5. What was your first alcoholic drink? Mine was just a beer, like a Bud Light that my dad let me have a couple sips of when I was a bit younger. And yeah, that's it. It was probably Bud Light. I think that maybe that was what he was drinking at the time, but I think I just had a couple drinks off my dad's beer. That was it.
Hennessy when I was 19.
Nice.
First thing I ever drank.
Nice.
And I got really wasted off like 3 shots, and it was horrible. Like, it was horrible.
That's a fancy answer.
No,
I wish I had
cognac.
a cooler
Like,
answer.
it's yeah. I mean, it's cognac, but it's
That's still a cooler answer than mine.
Get out of here. Number 6. What was your first job? My first job was at Mr. Goodsense Sandwich Shop.
My first job was at McDonald's, actually. I worked there for a couple days and then quit because they left me in a rush without training me, and I just walked out.
McDonald's was my 3rd job. And my 5th job.
Number 7, what was your first car? I believe the first one that I actually was given by my sister was a Grand Am. Pontiac Grand Am, I believe.
Neat.
Blue Pontiac Grand Am.
My first car was a Dodge Grand Caravan from the early 1990s that my grandpa gave me for a graduation gift. It was his old car, and he had driven it for 11 years, and it was still in pretty good shape, and gave it to me as a gift. And the ashtrays, all the ashtrays were filled to the top with quarters. It was really cool.
Hey,
I
nice.
discovered them over time.
Yeah, that's like score bonus.
Yeah, he didn't tell me that.
Bonus score.
He just put quarters in all the ashtrays.
Oh, he did it on purpose?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like, it was part of my present. There was like
that's badass.
$150 worth of quarters hidden all over the fucking car.
That's baller.
My grandpa's awesome. He's like my mom's dad. He's such a cool dude. Number 8. Who was the first person you thought of this morning? This morning? That's a hard one, because like I always wake up really sluggish and groggy and not really all together. But if I had to make an educated guess, it would for sure be one of my children, because they're usually the ones that that I hear like with my ears and that wake me up. So one of my 3 children for sure is probably the first person I thought of this morning.
The first person I thought of this morning was probably Scott, because I knew we were going to be recording and streaming today, and I was trying. Every time I'm like in the middle of sleep, I don't like hearing my phone, and I'm always like, whoever the fuck is on the other end of this phone, I hate you immediately. But it's probably Scott, because we got to get things done today.
Yeah.
So that's what that is.
Yeah.
Number
9.
Number 9. Who was your first teacher? The oldest one that I can actually remember the name for was Mrs. Dickinson. I believe that was first grade elementary school in Ohio. I believe it was in Texas or Ohio where I was living when I was a kid.
Cool. My kindergarten teacher would have been in Florida when we lived on the Navy base, because my dad was in the Navy when I was a lot younger. And it's McCormick, McGowan, McQuayman, McMoyrinson. It's some McTaggarty. It was something like Irishy that you had to ask like which way you pronounced it.
Miss Moira, can I answer the question?
Something like that. All right. Number 10. Where did you go on your first ride on a plane? First time I rode on a plane, we went to Orlando, Florida. And I hated it. I hated every second of it. It was loud. It was fucking hot. And fucking cramped. And shaky. And it took fucking 3 hours. It was just awful. I hated every second of it. I'm not a big flyer. I'd rather take a slow fucking drive where I can stop wherever and whenever I want. And fucking get up and not be in the fucking same place. What about you, Chris?
I feel like that's actually the same answer that I have, because I don't remember the first time. I've only been on a plane like maybe 4, maybe 5 times in my life, and it was Orlando, Florida's the first one that I remember for sure. And we were going to Disney World when I was a kid, and I'm not bothered by planes, or I wasn't bothered by planes when I was a kid, because I was a kid. I had nothing to worry about. I was a child. Everything's taken care of. I'm on a plane. That doesn't bother. It bothers me to be on a plane these days.
Yeah.
Everything, all that stuff. Number 11. Who was your first best friend?
Ooh.
The first person I ever called a best friend was a girl that lived across the street in our cul-de-sac. I guess that should be across the cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
In Amarillo, Texas, when I was like 4, 5, 6, something like that. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah. My first best friend would have been Cody Johnson in 3rd grade. Like, that's the first time I remember really having a concept of, like, best friend. And, yeah, it's Cody Johnson. Number 12. Where was your first sleepover? Probably also with Cody Johnson, like in third or fourth grade.
I think first sleepover I ever had was in Hudson, Ohio, with my friend from the neighborhood, Jonathan, and I tried to stay over at his place, and I just couldn't because it was just weird to sleep in a different place without my bed and my stuff and my family and stuff. I've never enjoyed sleepovers. Number 13. What is the first thing you do in the morning? I put on pants because I sleep with a shirt.
Immediately?
Yeah, I put on I sleep with a shirt and underwear, and so I wake up and put on pants. That's what I do first thing in the morning.
Like,
That's
even
not
if
really
you have to pee?
feel like the first thing I do in the morning. Like, I'm wondering how specific they want me to be with this one.
I guess ritualistically, more often than not, you sit up, you get out of bed, and you put pants on. That's like the majority of your.
Well, actually, no. Glasses. I put on my glasses first. That would come
Okay,
first.
there you go.
First thing in the morning. Put on my glasses so I can see my pants, so I can put them on.
Usually the first thing I do is grab my phone, and without really getting up in any way, I check YouTube and Twitter and Facebook for MindWhack stuff. Because it's literally like I can just grab my phone and be like, oh, okay, so a couple people watched this and some new people subbed, things like that. It's really easy. I don't have to get up or move or anything. So, yeah. First thing I do almost every morning is check the internets. Number 14. What was the first concert you went to? First concert I ever went to, I was in middle school, and it was Weird Al Yankovic. And it was fucking awesome. It was one of the best concerts to this day still that I've ever been to. Really good time.
First concert I went to was, in order, it was 3 bands. It was Jimmy Eat World, Green Day, and Blink-182 all together when I was in like early high school, freshman high school. Number 15, first bone broken. The only bone I think I've ever broke was in my thumb. I got hit by a car when I was younger, driving home from school. I wasn't driving. I was in the passenger seat. My girlfriend at the time was driving us home from school, and we got T-boned by an 18-wheeler semi, and she was knocked unconscious, and I was knocked unconscious. She had a minor concussion. She was out for a minute, and I just chipped a little bone in my thumb. So I had surgery on my thumb to fix the little chipped bone. That's it.
First and only bones I ever broke were in my right leg. In middle school gym, we were out playing soccer, and it had just rained like the day or two before that, so it was really wet. And I was dribbling towards the goal, and I reared back with my right leg to kick a really far shot at the goal. And one of the kids I had like bully issues with at the time fucking kicked the back of my calf as I was coming down, and instead of kicking the ball, my foot went across the top of it, and I did a full like backflip twist gainer, and came down on my right leg on my side, and when I tried to stand up, like my whole right leg was completely numb.
Damn.
And I couldn't figure out what was going on for a second, and then I looked down, and the bone in my ankle was sticking out of my skin. And when they did X-rays at the hospital later, the 2 top bones right under my knee had twisted around each other and snapped into a bunch of pieces. So I was in a cast for 8 months and a walking boot for another 6 months.
We're learning things at the same time, people. Yeah. I did not know that.
16, first piercing, never had one. Unless you count, like, first time I stabbed myself, which is technically a piercing.
That's funny. That's what I was about to say. I don't have any piercings either. It was probably like using a pin.
Yeah, like sewing in middle school.
Yeah, to get the dead skin on my finger. To pierce the dead skin on my finger was probably it.
Yeah, so all right, 17.
Number 17, the first movie you remember seeing. I did. I'm pretty sure I saw live action Ninja Turtles #2, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Secret of the Ooze,
So,
in theaters. I believe that was the first. That's the first thing I remember.
the first movie I have an actual memory, definite memory, and not just a story someone's told me, is Bambi. My mom took me to see Bambi. I would have been like two and a half, and I got really upset when they killed Bambi's mother, and I stood up in the middle of the theater and yelled, asking my mom where Bambi's mother is.
I think we both went to the same place. The real answer I could give, I was thinking of like at the movie theater. The first one you remember seeing like at a theater, that's what I was thinking. But like the first one I remember ever seeing, I guess ever, it might have been Bambi. It might have been Big Bird. What was the name of that Big Bird movie? It was a fucking Sesame Street movie.
Oh yeah, maybe. I don't know. That's cool.
There's old Big Bird movie.
Neat. All right, number 18. When was your very first detention? That's a good question. I had a few detentions in high school. Never for really doing anything wrong other than not showing up in class. Like, I think my first detention would have been like sophomore year. I skipped geometry a lot because our teacher at the beginning of the year gave us a piece of, like, a packet that had every single homework assignment and the date that it was due. So I went home and just did the whole year's worth of homework in the first like month and passed and showed up for tests, and other than that I just didn't really see the point, and I hated the teacher. So yeah, first and probably subsequent several detentions from her for skipping class and shit.
I don't remember, actually. It may have been in middle school for doing something stupid. Maybe high school for doing something stupid. I honestly do not remember when my first detention was.
Oh man, you just unlocked like a possibly repressed memory of me having a detention in 7th grade.
Yeah.
So I'm changing my answer to 7th grade. Maybe 8th grade.
7th grade math class.
No, it would have been 8th grade. It would have been 8th grade because it was because of my broken leg. I was on crutches and I got to leave class early because it took me longer and the hallways were crowded. And but I had gotten to where I could kind of prop my leg out in front of me on its heel and then use the crutches and my leg to literally run like a fucking bionic man through the hallways. Like seriously, way fast. Like if I had fallen, I would have re-shattered my leg, how fast I was going on these crutches. And one of the vice principals caught me doing it and fucking gave me a detention. And it was the first time I'd ever fucking gotten in trouble in school. Like, in a real way.
Number 19. Who was your first roommate? Other than living with my family, when I moved out on my own, I didn't have any roommates until Scott. I believe Scott was my first roommate ever in my own place.
Yeah, because I lived with Chris for a while. Back in the day.
But I wasn't your first roommate, right?
No, my very first roommate was a guy named Will. And it did not end great. I was barely 18. I had just moved out, and I was all cocky, and I could fucking live in the real world, and yeah. But I couldn't afford any of the places around where we lived, and that was close to my job at the time, unless I had at least one roommate. And so I talked my friend Will into being a roommate with me, and that's it. That was my first roommate. Number 20. Here we go at the end. First thing you do when you get home. I don't know. That depends. I get home from places a lot. Like, I would say literally put my keys down and take my shoes off. Every time. Like, that's definitely the first thing I do. I hate having shoes on. A lot of the time, I'll take my shoes off when I'm driving. Like, I hate having shoes on. Shoes suck.
Yeah. That's the logical answer. When you walk into your home, you usually just take your goddamn shoes off and get comfortable. And then I take my pants off. Remember the first thing that I do when I wake up? Put on pants. Well, I take those fuckers right off.
Right off. As soon as you get home.
And put on something more comfortable, and that's it.
Yeah, basically get comfortable, and I'll usually grab a drink, and maybe an apple. I like apples a lot. All right, so that's it. 20 flipping questions, you guys. Thanks for sticking around for 20 minutes and listening to us fucking narcissistically yap about ourselves. We appreciate it a lot. It makes us feel good.
Yeah, hopefully you guys got a little insight into our world and who we are and what we do, and that's awesome.
Where we came from, and I really like this. The custom here is to tag a few people to go next. So we talked about it a little bit, and I think we're going to go with, what did we say? Our good buddy Barry the Bounty Hunter. There's a link to his channel down in the description. Eric and Laura at Aisle 55.
Aisle 55.
Yeah. I'm excited for them to do this because they're good friends of ours. And what was the third one, Chris?
I believe Luke Lawson plays.
Our buddy Luke Lawson plays.
Is our
we really
last...
like his channel.
We're tagging you guys. Really cool dude. Yeah, so you guys do what we did, but do it in your own way.
I'll post the questions up in the description as well for you guys to read along. And for those of you that we tagged. And anything else, Chris? I think that's it. Barry
and Aisle 55 and Luke Lawson
plays.
You've been tagged!
Turn.
Now it's your turn!
Oh, where's the fucking horn?
Thank you, J Extreme Gaming, for tagging us and making us do it. I love this kind of shit.
Yeah, this was really fun. I enjoyed this.
So I hope you all enjoyed. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you're thinking, how you're feeling, and thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Boost.